The Asian Financial Forum 2015 here in Hong Kong welcomes the chairman and CEO of Allianz Group, one of Germany's and the world's largest insurers. And joining us from New York is Michael Diekmann. Michael, thanks indeed for this. And I'm wondering what you would think about some of the economic problems that there are in the world at the moment, looking, for example, about a recession in the European Union, as some people are suggesting.
Well, Martin, as a CEO, you're always concerned, and I have to admit we are not seeing, growth numbers coming through, but we've gone through a couple of very fundamental changes and reforms, and we probably need some more of them. Let's just look at this from, a perspective over 2-3 years, and don't underestimate the powers in Europe, that I think can bring us back. Now we have a couple of geopolitical issues as well that we have to deal with. I think oil prices, we're talking today, we're in the end of December, oil prices below 55. That is a fundamental change, and depending on how long that lasts, it could influence the competitiveness of energy prices around the world.
So, Michael, looking at the insurance business in markets such as in Germany, what's your outlook for 2015?
Well, the insurance market, basically you look at the P&C insurance, property and casualty, that basically follows the market and the development of the gross domestic product, with some exceptions on the motor side. On the life side, it's really more a demographic development, where looking at where we come from, we have a lot of people entering into retirement. So we see, and that's, different by company, a huge boost in retirement plans, but also in, funds that sort of give you a capital guarantee. So the basic situation, and I think that is not different in other places, like for instance the US, is that people are really worried with this low interest environment and the volatility on the capital markets on the other side, that they want to be sure that their capital that they're investing stays and that they are participating in whatever opportunities in the market there are. And this is what we're offering in Germany, and we see a growth that I haven't seen over many years, and I think this is going to continue in 2015.
And Michael, would you see the low interest rate environment continuing in major economies such as the EU, such as the United States?
Definitely, yes. So if you listen to the central banks, there is a high interest in keeping interest rates low. I don't see any change, coming from Japan, the US, or Europe. And so I think that's something that we're going to have to cope with for quite some time, even if I'm not really a fan of this. And that has nothing to do with the life insurance or, being biased from an investor point of view. I just think we get, a little risk going here, that, everybody's crowding into assets that then may burst, like what we've seen in 2008. So I think that deserves a little bit of a coordinated policy, which frankly, at this point in time, I don't see, where, we have quantitative easing ending here in the US, while we're just debating to get into that on the European side.
So turning to Asia, what are the prospects that you see in China in 2015, both on the insurance and the asset management side?
Well, I think China is opening up on the asset management side, so there's more opportunities now to invest for non-domestic companies. It's still a little complicated on, the legal side, the regulatory side, but I see trends, that will allow, to have a better competition and more opportunity as well for Chinese customers coming to the insurance side. Obviously, there's a huge demand for capital going forward. And I think the government in China has now seen that, Chinese companies are so developed they don't need to be protected anymore from competition. So the free trade zone in Shanghai, for instance, may be one step, to test that thesis.
And Michael, seen as the CEO who is seen as turning Allianz around, what would you say is the major effective step that insurance groups would have to take today?
We are all facing a very interesting challenge, and that is the whole digitalization. Now, digital by nature means, whatever is inefficient will be corrected in digital ways. So I think that's a huge opportunity if you had started early enough and you have a sort of architecture in mind that is not just opportunistic and experimental, but really systematic.
So you're attending the Asian Financial Forum 2015, whose theme is on the region's sustainable development in a world of change. What's your message?
No, I think that's a very good theme, because this is the challenge, I think, for all of us. We've all been great in optimizing, but there are some very fundamental questions out there. And I would call the fundamental question, how do we make sure that we pass on something, that was given to us as trustees to the next generation that is still intact and hopefully in better shape than what we've received. Now we're a little bit off that road, if I may say so, because we're dealing with secondary questions rather than with the real big questions, be it climate, be it resources, be it education and participation.
So Michael Diekmann, CEO of Allianz, this really is shaping up to be a major event early in 2015.
I certainly hope so, and I'm looking forward to be there.